Coach Pryor here at the Coach's Classroom, and we're going to now move into the disconnections. And again, just to re-emphasize, this is where you're going to identify the queen bee with these disconnections, and that's going to start to set your foundation for moving forward from going from a disconnected stance position to getting connected. All right, so we're going to go from a disconnection to a connection. And we're going to do everything in between. So we must understand the disconnection so that we can properly get connected through the proper drill sequence so that we can have improved performance. We're going to go ahead and just do a quick overview of some of the disconnections real quick. You can kind of read through these. We're going to break out every single disconnection, all of these disconnections. I think we put about 13 or so of the most common disconnections and common mistakes that we've found in youth baseball and even at the high school level that are pretty common. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down each disconnection. We're going to then show you footage of players performing that disconnection, and then we're going to come back and then I'm going to re-emphasize those disconnections for you. So in the disconnection section, you're going to be able to identify the disconnection. You're going to be able to identify that queen bee. You're going to be able to visually have an understanding of the disconnection. You're going to understand the correct connection once we get to the mechanics, because we'll talk about all of the correct way. And then we're going to show you all of the drills that work for fixing the disconnections. Okay, so big section, you can split it out. There'll be a lot of ways for you to get to that information, but the disconnection, we got to understand where we're at and what we're doing incorrectly and understand that disconnection. So let's jump right into it. The disconnections, during the set and the stance, we have a lot of issues with our feet right here, our knees. A lot of times we have a lot of issues with the knees and our hands, our bat angle. Setting, striding and stepping into the bucket. You've all heard this. Hey, they keep stepping out. They're bailing out. They're pulling the front side. Hand movement and at separation, poor hand position at contact. So we're going to talk about at contact when we meet the ball. Where are we positioned? We're going to also talk about our hands and a lot of the movement that takes place back here, which is a disconnect, an overstride or no stride. We're going to talk about no rotation on the back foot. Some of you have probably heard, especially at the youth level, squash the bug. And then we're going to talk about power position. Power position is what we teach here at the ranch. That's getting you actually in a good connected position to fire with good bat speed and power. We're okay with the terminology squash the bug, especially for the younger levels. We'll say, hey, squash the bug. And we do some different things with some of our drills to support that terminology, but then we want to transition from squash the bug to power position at a certain level in their progression of learning to hit. Looping swings, big swing that starts from way back here. I call it a barbecue swing. You're out there at the barbecue and you're just kind of cracking it, hot dog and cheese type swing. So a loopy swing, slow bat, we'll talk about that and how to speed it up. Things that happen for making your bat slow through the mechanics and what you do with your body. Poor balance, that's not being balanced in your stance, not being balanced through your swing, not being balanced at finish. So we'll show some of those balance points. Uppercutting swing or dipping the shoulders, you've seen this one, this whole dipping, big barbecue swing. Locks out the front arm. It's just kind of, we're getting the arm way back here or out here, casting out away from the body and getting a big looping swing. So we'll talk a little bit about that arm bar and the front arm locking out. Pulls the head and the shoulders, front foot hitting. A lot of times you're going to get guys that open up on the front side. They open the foot and the knee. They pull the shoulder. They pull the head. And here's the biggest thing with hitting, and this is the same with throwing or pitching or anything else. Wherever the head goes, the body goes. Everything here is connected to this guy. All right? So if your head goes away, your body starts to go that way. So it's very important that when we hit, that our head stays quiet and that we rotate on that axis. And we'll talk more about that whole process as we get into the mechanics, but I want you to understand the concept. Where the head goes, the body follows. Premature weight transfer, lunge, hip drift, or head forward. So just kind of getting all of our weight out onto the front side and some different weight transfer things, transferring early, losing the power that we generated. We're going to talk a little bit about that, and also tracking the ball. A lot of guys just don't track the ball well. Some of it's because of what they're doing with their head and their body, but some of it is they just don't understand where to be looking for getting set up into a separation or a load or launch position. And they don't track the ball very well. So we're going to talk about how to identify that, look for some commonality, and some drills obviously to fix that. So just a quick overview of the disconnections. You got to understand what's going wrong, where are you at, because if you don't know where you're at, you don't know what road you need to go down. So you need to identify this first, identify the disconnections, identify the queen bee within those disconnections, and then put in a prescription of drill sequencing to get it to a connected point so that we can start having some fun and some success with our hitting. Again, we're going to dive into each one of these bullet points separately. You will want to go to the disconnection section where we identify this, look at some footage, and start to get you to identify the queen bee and the disconnections. Again, Coach Pryor, and that's the RockStar way.